So in the previous video I have shown you some of the ways that we can convert non-stationary datasets into stationary datasets. So in this video I am going to show you another way that we can use to convert into non-stationary datasets into stationary time series data. So in this method I am going to use logarithmic functions. By doing so we can transform the particular dataset into a stationary dataset. So for this I am going to use a log10 transform function. Since I am considering variance in this case, that is why I am going to use this logarithmic functions to convert the non-stationary dataset into a stationary dataset. So first of all, what we have to do is that we have to calculate the logarithmic log10 value of the BTC filtered dataset. So for that, we can use the log10 function and pass this variable into that function as a argument. So likewise we can calculate it the logarithmic transformation, and then we can plot and see how the data is arranged. So if you run the program, you can see by comparing it has changed a little bit. So in this way we can change it into a logarithmic function. So by comparing with the previous dataset, you can observe there is no lot of variances in the dataset after converting into a logarithmic base values. So by taking the logarithmic value, we can make the data stationary on variance, and then we can take the difference of the log transform data. So by doing so we can make our data set stationary. So we can call the function diff, and then pass the log BTC variable, and then we can plot it. So by looking at this, you can see, assume the particular data set is not showing a particular trend and also not showing any kind of variance. So by doing so, we have managed to make our data set stationary. To confirm that, like we did in the previous video, we can call the adf.test function and check whether the p-value is less than 0.05. So if you run it again, so now you can see the p-value is less than 0.05, and we can accept the alternative hypothesis that the dataset is stationary. So like we did in the last video, making the data stationary on mean, in this example I have used the variance for that. So in this way we can convert the non-stationary dataset into stationary datasets. So it is also worth mentioning that if the data has a particular seasonal variation, this method is useful to convert the non-stationary dataset into stationary dataset.